My guest today is actress and dancer Arielle Bodenhausen, and her Hollywood journey began through the art of dance. Originally from the Midwest, her passion for movement inspired a bold move to California, where she transitioned from dancer to actor. Now, Arielle began her acting career in a series of short films, which ultimately led to her breakout role as Wendy, a lead character in the feature film Roswell Delirium. She can also be seen in the latest season of Physical on Apple TV and starred as Daniela in Disappearing Boy in 2024. Now, when she's not in front of the camera, Arielle continues to challenge her creativity behind the scenes, producing and choreographing for television, film, and music videos. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome actress Arielle Bodenhausen to the show. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I tell you one thing, I think I almost have the whole cast of Roswell Delirium coming onto the show, but for you, how did you make it from the Midwest to Hollywood?
Oh my goodness. I was just telling that story the other day, and now that I'm older, now that I'm in my 30s, it's wild because I moved out here at 19. So I just turned 19. I saved up my $10,000 that I told my parents I would save, and I was like, I'm moving to LA. I had a lot of my dance friends that moved out here, and one of my best friends, her roommate moved out, and she was like, I have a kitchen to live in." And I said, "I'll take it." So I took my $10,000 in my tiny car with my mom, and we drove out to LA. And I'm pretty sure my mom cried leaving me because I'm 19, and I just was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I felt like I was so mature and I was such like an adult and I could handle LA. And I was like, this is fine. I have this. And now I look back, like now I'm in my 30s and I look back, I'm like, how in the world did I do this? Like 19 was a long time ago. um, but dance, I think, was the most beautiful community for me to start in. You go to dance class, you're constantly dancing with your friends, with your peers, you're working hard all the time. So I feel like the work ethic that dance taught me um, just followed through into everything that I wanted to do. Dance, you literally have to show up. So I can't just like sit on the couch and be like, oh, I wish I was better at dancing. Um, and then a friend of mine was like, are you sure you don't act? And I was like, there's not even like a place in me that I could even see myself acting. Like I am terrified to speak in front of people. Speaking in front of people, I get so blushed. I would like get so embarrassed. I would ask people like, "Hey, can I just not speak for myself? Like I'll write it down and you can say it for me." And he was like, "Come on, you would love it." And I was like, "Okay, well, if I go to your acting class, I do not want to do a single thing. Can I just sit in the back? If that teacher makes me get up and do something, I will never be friends with you again." And he was like, "I promise you can just watch." So I went and I watched and I was like, that's freedom. I was like, that is the coolest thing I have ever seen. The fact that like voice and body came together. And then on to my next journey of showing up. And then I like emailed the teacher and I was like, I am such a newbie. I know nothing. Put me in your most beginning class. And he was like, I'll see you on Wednesday. And from then on, I just saw him at a pool party 3 days ago. Like he's still in my life, one of my close friends and mentors. But like, yeah, it's wild. It's kind of crazy. Like if it
What
wasn't for the
did
people in my life.
taking the acting classes help you to gain more self-confidence?
Oh, 1000%. It helped me find my voice. And I think that was really a lacking piece for me. Me in a dance class was fine, but me outside of a dance class was very different. So finding my voice was like it was huge for my self-esteem.
I love that. I think there are some people, even though they may not want to become an actor, by taking a few acting classes, I think they may actually find themselves and improve their overall self-confidence in, into whatever they want to do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be acting.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think that there's something about um, stepping into like another character for a second and just realizing, oh, this is how I would do it. And it's okay. Like, even if somebody was like, oh, I would have done it different, you realize all of those choices and impulses are okay and that they're your own, and to start like being confident in your impulses and what you have to say. Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
I am a big lover of short films. So how did you start acting in yeah, how did you begin acting in short films to prepare for bigger roles?
I don't even know if I knew it was like a preparation for bigger roles. I just started auditioning because I was like, acting is an expensive hobby. And I was like, I really am enjoying this. And it was helping me through a time in my life that was, I went through a big thing personally. So it was like a really beautiful, like, thing that I was like, I would love to bring this to to a team. Like, I would love to like have co-stars, and I would love to like be with different people on set, working with a director. So I just started auditioning, and then short films were the things that I started auditioning for. And then doing that was like one thing to the next. And then that's how I met Richard Bakewell, who is the director for Roswell. I did one of his short films. And
Yeah, Rabbit
so,
Hole.
yeah. And then
And that
Kylie was my daughter.
ah
Yeah. So,
really? Cuz see
yeah.
that was done in 2019. So
Hmm.
what, 4 years later you ended up doing Roswell Delirium?
Yeah. So 2019, so Rabbit Hole. Kylie, I think, was like 5 or 6, maybe 6. I could pick her up. It was easy for me to pick her up and hold her. And then the pandemic hit. So like Roswell Delirium was like on the table earlier than when it came out, but because of the pandemic and things were kind of pushed back in time, or pushed back. Um, yeah, I kept, Kylie just kept getting older. I mean, I kind of kept being the same. I mean, once you're in your 20s, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not growing anymore. But Kylie kept growing. And I was like, you're playing my daughter now. And you're 12? I think she was 12 when we filmed.
So she would have, so if the
12 or
pandemic
13.
didn't happen, she would have been younger in Roswell.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, I mean, I can't say if like there could have always been something of like, oh, we want to take a little, something else could have pushed it back. But as I was reading a script during the pandemic, a version of Roswell Delirium. It wasn't the one that we filmed, it was a version of one of the versions.
Yeah, because see, when I talked to Rick, when the pandemic hit, everything just stopped, and it was almost like having to start all over
Hmm.
with the project because a lot of people lost their projects and never got made. And then there are those that wrote, directed, and filmed in the midst of the pandemic. And of course, most
Ooh.
of those were short films, but Richard had a full blown feature film that he had planned to do. So once the pandemic was over, was the acting scene for you? Was what were the changes?
Like within Hollywood, or within, what do you mean by
Yeah, yeah,
like
within
acting?
Hollywood, because I know that prior to the pandemic, a lot of people who were in LA were used to doing in-person auditions, and then everything went to
Mm.
self-tape, and it really hasn't ended.
Yeah, the self-tape thing is very real. I mean, as you can see, I have a wall painted a certain color for self-tapes in my house. Um, but yeah, the self-tape thing is very, very constant. I mean, I would love to be in person more. I think in person is where the magic is, and it also like helps. It just helps, like, you get the note, you get to feel what's actually happening, you get to be able to feel like you're part of the team, or at least collaborating with a possible team that you could be working with in the future. Self-tape, sometimes you're just like putting it out into the abyss, but it's fun for me and my acting friends, because I'll have a friend come over and we'll have a reader, like they'll be my reader, and we'll just like have fun with it. So we're having fun, but I do miss the in the room auditions.
Yeah, because you get what, one shot, maybe two shots in person, and but with self-tapes you can shoot 20 times till you think until you think you got it right.
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes I don't know what's better sometimes though, because you can really over film it, and you're like, wait, oh no, I have 40 takes of me doing the same the same scene, and you're like, uh-oh. Which one am I going with now?
Yeah, I've got
But
seasoned actors that tell me that they hate self-tapes because they spent their whole careers showing up in person
yep.
and that's all they've ever known. And then you have the other side, the younger set who have never done in-person auditions and they only know self-tapes.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't even think of that. Like, I'm kind of in the cusp of like knowing both sides. But like, yeah, that is funny. I didn't even think about the younger generation that's like, this is all they know.
Well, how did you handle
Wow.
rejection?
Mm.
Because you came in late. I mean, if you're starting acting
Yeah.
at 19, 20, 21 years old, rejection hurts.
Yeah.
When I've talked to actors who started as children, they're just like, yeah, whatever. If I get the part, great. If I don't, that's just how the
Yeah.
system works. That's just part of life. But older ones, they're like, oh man, do I suck that bad? Am I ever going to get a part? I mean, what went through your mind?
I think dance helped me with the rejection side of it because I've been auditioning since I was very young with dance. Acting for me, like I truly think like if it's your role, it's going to be your role. Like there's something special whenever you connect with a character. Of course, it sucks when you connect with a character and you are fully like, I could see myself playing this role. Like it's devastating because you dream up this whole character and this vision of you doing it, and then it doesn't progress in that way, and it's heartbreaking. But then you have to know that there's another character along the way. Um, I can't, I really have gotten to a point where I can't get as caught up in getting the job as loving as much as just loving the character, having a cool opportunity to build a character. And even if that means I play that character for one afternoon and I like up against my self-tape wall with a friend, then that's incredible. That's a good day at work. That's a fun way to massage my craft of acting. Um, yeah.
You have the same mindset as Michael Keaton does.
Mm,
When he goes in for an audition, he looks at it like, I'm going to work. I'm not going in for an acting part. I'm going to work.
mhm.
And that's how especially early on, that's how he operated because everybody else was going, okay, I'm trying to get this part. I really want this part. And then if they don't get it, his mindset was completely different. And I think you do have to have a different mindset on the auditioning process. But I want to talk about some of these very emotional scenes that are in Roswell Delirium. And I watched there's the hospital scenes with you and Kylie. There was the scenes with Sam Jones, and then there was the scenes with Ashton Selecki. Being all three of those types of scenes being very emotional, did you approach them the same or did you approach them differently?
I approach them differently, mainly because there are different stages of life. The thing that I really tried to like hone in on was my relationship with my mom and like how, yes, even though that we're at different stages of life, no matter how old I am, I will always be that little girl to my mom. Like it does not matter. Like I am as fragile and huggable and lovable, like all the things that I was at like 3, infant, whatever. It's like I will always be that little. So like I do think as as Kylie gets older and then Ashton appears, I still think that I still see that little girl in her. Also because of the story, it's kind of the like, how far has my um how far, like, have I fully aged mentally or have I not fully aged mentally? Am I still stuck in a certain time? So there's like that back and forth that's like a question mark, So it's not fully known as like, oh, she has all of her wits with her or not, like so I feel like there was always this through line. Even I remember filming with Ashton. Um, I would just picture Kylie. I would just like picture that little girl. Even Kylie like filming back with like Rabbit Hole when she was even tinier. Like I think that's a really cool thing is that like I've known she's played my daughter twice and like I don't have kids, but like oh, the weight of like having the characters just like fall in love with that little girl. I mean, Kylie's also so lovable and sweet and we have the best relationship. But like so there was always that through line to answer your question. I'm kind of rambling, but there was always a through line of Kylie being or May being the young little girl. Um Hospital scene was probably the most raw and the most present. Um, and I think that one that day took me away on a ride that I wasn't even prepped for. I was like, that day was wild. Um, and then the Sam Jones scene, I feel like I had a little bit more of like, are you guys messing with me? Do you know? Like I had a little bit more smarts. Like I wanted to like get to know. I wanted to know where my daughter was, but
Yeah,
I
there was
also
a
was trying to like play this
distrust.
as.
Yeah, there was
Mm-hmm,
a distrust from your character because when you before the hospital scene, there was the nuclear blast. There was that scene with you and Dee Wallace
mm-hmm.
because your
Yeah.
character in that scene was thinking of, okay, um, these people are heading to space rock. Some say it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
exist. And I can see that even the look on your face, it's not exactly confusion. It's more of this big, heavy question mark that's in the
Yes.
air.
Yeah.
And then when Kylie's character, Mayday, ends up in the hospital, then that's when I think the emotional toll really starts to hit with many of the characters in the film.
Hmm. Yeah, it is that big question mark that everybody is like, oh, does this exist? And it's I think that brush off of like it's better to joke about it that it doesn't exist than actually thinking, what if it does? Because if it does exist, this is scary and this is bad. But then so yeah, getting into the hospital was very, very tough. I do remember there was a moment I sat down next to the hair and makeup team was incredible. What they did and made Kylie look like was so hard to see. Also, this was day 2 of filming. So this was my first day on set.
Oh, you
And
had
so
to do the hospital scene first?
yeah, I
Oh
went
my
to the
gosh.
school to just like check in and like see how everybody was and like say hi because I was like I'm going to meet everybody on hospital day. Like very, very hard day. And so I was like I just want to like make myself familiar with like, the crew and with people so it wasn't just like I'm crying. Hi, bye. um but yeah, I go in and I sit down next to her. She's in the hospital bed, and I look at Rick and I like go, come here. And I just whispered in his ear and I said, I'm about to lose it. Like, because I was just supposed to do some sort of like insert thing and like maybe say a couple lines, but I was like, I can't. I'm just about to go. Um, so there's a whole like little montage thing of me taking care of her and crying and stuff. And that's what he was like, okay. And then he just went over to our DP and like had them change everything. And he just like, yeah, I don't even know if he's called action. I just lost it. Like it was just so hard. It felt so real.
Well,
And I
well,
like,
in person, did the special effects makeup look? I mean, it looks authentic on camera. What was
mhm.
it like seeing it in person?
There was, I mean, you could see the bald cap a little bit, but I mean the hair, like, and she's just laying there lifeless. I mean, it was very, very, very good in person. Obviously, if you look close, you can say, I know this is makeup, but walking in and seeing her and sitting down and having all that prep in me and realizing, my daughter is about to die, maybe, um, it just washed over me. And I
Well,
was
then
like,
what? Well, then what was it like working with Sam Jones? And did you know who Sam Jones was when you arrived?
I did know who he was when I arrived, only because Rick and I talked about it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do some research. And then I told my parents, and they were like, what? This is so cool. And I was like, yeah, it is so cool. um, but he was incredible. He was so fun to work with. He was so present. He like, I mean, we were in this hot bunker. Like it was so hot. I mean, it was steel bunker. And in the middle of summer, I mean, it was, I don't know, everybody was just wet, like just so sweaty. And we just sat there, but he sat in every single scene with me, and I had a lot to say. I had a lot of dialogue. And every single time, even when it was on my coverage, he was like, I'm here with you. I'm going to be here. And I was like, because I figured it was so hot, I was like, he might go get some air while it's my coverage. And he was like, no way, I'm sitting with you. Like, I'm with you in this scene. And it was the coolest thing to see somebody who's that seasoned and has been in this industry for such a long time still have such a presence on set and still be there and have like he was so encouraging to me and like knowing that this is like at the start of my career. It was really fun to talk to him and work with him.
Yeah, what when I had talked to Anthony Michael Hall, he was so impressed that everybody came to set prepared. He
Hmm.
said everybody was ready to go, and he was so impressed by that. And I mean, and you did you have a scene with Anthony Michael Hall? I don't remember you had one.
No, I didn't have a scene with him. I did go to set on the day that him and Ashton had the big scene together, which that was fun to watch. It was just such a fun, like, I think no, that was my day off. I had a day off. So I was like, I just want to come hang out. We were such a family that, like, if you told me, hey, Ari, you need to go film something tomorrow, pick up days with all of them, I would be like, okay, where? You want me to go out to the desert? Okay, I'll be there. Like, it would, they're such a good group of people. So it was such an easy yes for me. I was like, I'm going to come watch that day. But yeah, every single person showed up so prepared, just so excited to do it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really
Yeah.
fun.
Now, so how long did it take you to go through special effects makeup?
Last day, the last one for the last scene, which was also our last day, that I think that was 5 hours in the makeup chair. Yeah.
So if yours was 5 hours, how long did it take for Ashton and then Kylie to have their makeup special effects done?
Theirs was much, much, much less. The ending one of me being aged like up until I was supposed to be 60, that was so much, what do they call that? Stretch and stipple, maybe? But like they had to like make all of my skin like have wrinkles out in my hands. I had like burns that were scarred over at this point. So yeah, I think that was like 4 to 5 hours. The burns and stuff that I had earlier on in the movie was probably, I would say maybe an hour. Yeah, quite a while.
Wow. Now,
Hmm.
the ending scene with you and Ashton Selecki, that's the most powerful scene in the film.
Mm,
Where was it filmed? And I'm trying to remember when I talked to Rick, there wasn't a whole lot of people on set for that one, correct?
no, no, that was like considered a pickup day. It was like a couple weeks, or I can't really remember. Maybe it was a month after we filmed principal photography, but we, it was out in the desert. Yeah, it was out. I honestly can't even tell you where out in the desert, but it was a jail, um, which was really crazy that it was a real jail. They also put me inside, like I had to like be inside of a jail cell at one point. And I was like, whew, the realities of like what this feels like is wild.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you because I rewatched the scene when you're in the jail cell and I kept
mhm.
thinking, okay, you're acting, but still, what does it feel to be in a confined space and you can't get out?
um, well, I'm also very much like my one of my biggest fears is like claustrophobia of not being able to get out of a space. So that in general is like huge for me. also knowing that this is like a working prison and like this was just like a side of it that was not active, um, crazy too, because it's like it's not just like a set, because there's a lot of sets that are jail scene or jail sets. Um, yeah, it was really, I want to say like it was super heavy, but it wasn't like dramatic heavy. It was almost numbing how heavy it was. Like it almost just makes you feel like no hope, just like what like there's I'm helpless. Like I'm seriously helpless. I hope that these doors don't actually lock and you guys can get me out. Is what also I like they shut it and it locked and I was like, guys, that opens, right?
Well, yeah, because because where the cell was, and then right across you have the high windows at the top,
Hmm.
and to sit in a jail cell like that, and thinking that life goes by, and you're not a part of it.
Yeah, and you can't see it, you can't do anything with it. Like it literally, I mean, it confines you to a space, and then you're like, all I have is to like lay here. It's not comfortable. And then it's all with your own thoughts. You're like, what am I gonna like? I can't do anything. It takes away all sense of like
Well, when the
choice.
door opened, so let's say after the scene was over and the door opens and you walk out of the jail cell, what was that feeling?
Gosh, I don't even remember.
Probably a
That
breath of
day,
fresh air.
a breath of fresh air, but I also knew I had the big scene with Ashton later. So then I also like went into a whole nother room and just was like kept by myself. I don't know if Rick told you this, but he was like, um, he really wanted me to not see anybody that day.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
He told me that.
yeah. So there wasn't that many people like in my scenes. I would never see Ashton or Kylie, even though I knew that they were there. Even my hair and makeup artist, like once I was done with them, I couldn't like hang out in hair and makeup. I like was like in this room. They'd be like, "Do you want food? Do you want water?" And I would just like go over my scenes. But like I literally was stuck in this dark room, and I'd put headphones on because I could hear people, and I was just trying not to like like if I was hearing them, I wanted to be with them. So I was trying to just like I knew I couldn't, so I just like closed everything off. And so I feel like if I'm not mistaken, we filmed the jail cell and then I went out of that and then I kind of went into this room alone. So I just knew like that was just like it was all somber that day. That day was very somber and like very just kind of like nobody was like high energy. There wasn't like a lot of joking going on. So as I left the jail cell, I do remember just kind of like walking back and like sitting down and waiting for my time with May, older
Yeah,
May.
yeah,
So
because that scene, because it's you, Ashton, and Kylie, because
mhm,
it's kind of like a flashback going on within this scene. But it was
mhm.
very heavy dialogue too.
Yeah, I had a lot to listen to. Like I tried not to take in a lot of what, like I tried not to overly read the script of what Ashton was going to be saying to me because I also know her and her and I like although we didn't get to act together much, like her and I when we were holding auditions, I read with her. So I knew she like was good with the eyes and she would dive in. And so I was like I literally want a lot of this to be a surprise and like how her words come out. I want them to affect me authentically. Um which was just such a fun like it's so weird to say that something so painful is fun, but like it was such a good day at work in a way. Like just being in that room and like Ashton coming in or actually her sitting there. Was I sitting there first?
Yeah, yeah. The
I
scene
walk
starts
in.
out with her
I walk
sitting
in.
there.
Yeah, and I walk in and but it's dark and me trying to like figure out who it is and hoping it's her and then I sit down and first time I actually like see her not as young, but then it's older, and it's just like it was such a trip. Like I felt like I was constantly like, getting caught up to speed, but I just couldn't stop just like staring at her, like, "Oh, you're okay. Are you okay? But you're okay." And yeah, it was an interesting ride that last day.
Well, did you rely on a particular memory to bring that emotion in that scene?
Yes. Like, I wonder how. So I pulled a lot from, like I said, I pulled a lot from my mom, and we lost somebody very close in our life in my family. And so there was a lot of me also like kind of embodying my mom as if she would be able to see this person. And that was like my personal pull of like, okay, if I could put myself in my mom's shoes and what she would do if she got to sit across the table from this person, that was a lot of that day where I was like, this, even if it was 2 minutes, that would be the most special, perfect, untouched 2 minutes I would ever, like she would ever keep, you know? So like that's one thing that I kept, I guess I prepped for all throughout the day, thinking of being like, okay, I'm gonna go see her. And then knowing who that was personally to myself.
Yeah, it's such an incredible scene. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great scenes in this film. And but this film has a very strong 80s vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you had scenes with Sam Jones, Dee
Mm-hmm.
Wallace, Reginald Vell
Love her.
Johnson. What was it like being with them?
Um, well, kind of crazy because like seeing how like for me I'm like okay yes acting I want the longevity of acting in my life and seeing these actors show up to set and be like wow that's what longevity in this career looks like that in general is very cool so that was very inspiring me or very inspiring to me and then Dee Wallace was a really magical day for me because she you know I would hear stories from Rick and then I also heard stories from her and like she played a young mom in sci-fi films. You know, like that was her role. So like that was so cool to like hear her stories and see how like she's crafted her way through her choices and also to see still how she shows up to set. And like she taught me a lot of things. There was like one moment I can't remember if we were running late or if there was something with lighting, you know, things that happen on set. And our DP and Rick are just kind of like off to the side and they're saying something of like, okay, they're talking about the coverage that they're needing to get and kind of seemed a little rushed, you know, and it was on my coverage. And Dee looked up at me and she goes, hey, look at me. You don't worry about that. Like it's all okay. You don't worry about that. They'll get you. You with us right now. Stay with me. And it was one of those moments where it was like, oh, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to make sure that I don't like mess up? We like need to make sure we're on time. Like I don't want to be anything to like hold up the ship that's moving forward. Um, and she saw that and she looked at me and it was just one of those moments where I was like, that was so cool that she just grabbed my like, you know, brought my attention back to what matters. And I mean, those are lessons that I feel like you only learn from a veteran that knows how this works. And so acting with her was incredible too, but like also those little nuggets of like wisdom, so cool. And she's also a dancer from the Midwest, so we're like we had some fun with that.
You know, it only comes from those with experience that can pass that down because they see it in the younger actors. So
Hmm.
I just love that. And one of my favorite scenes in the whole film was with Reginald Vell Johnson, with you and Kylie, especially with Kylie because it was so funny just
Hmm.
watching him do those lines.
Yeah.
And Kylie is coming across, or Mayday is coming across as this very smart aleck little girl.
Yes. And she had a lot of big words to say. Like we were all standing by like at monitor because I left, you know, I leave the scene. And so I'm over at monitor and she gets through her big dialogue and she is just like delivering these words that like most 12-year-olds aren't saying. Like I was even like, what is that word? I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
about
because she's
radio like
talking
this.
about the way she linked up the ham radios
Yes.
to
It's
break.
all
Yeah, to what was it? She broke into
broke into
Area
it broke
51's
into
command center.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
she like had all of her ways of doing it, and then with the rubber ducky and like super cute little like kid little touches. So funny. And she got through that. Everybody, Reginald, like as well, like everybody was just cheering. Like it was just so much fun. And then like watching his reactions to her was priceless because it was the perfect person to sit down in the chair across from her. And he's so lovable. And but he's also like, you got to tell, like, come on, kid. Like, what's going on? It was just such a fun scene. And like, yeah, I mean, he was a dream. He was so much fun to like hang out with, and he was like not only while filming, but afterwards he hung out and chatted for a little bit. He was just fun. Like it was all a good time. And then I don't know if you saw this, but Kylie came out with Twinkies. Did you see that? There's like a whole bit. It wasn't in the movie. It was like on
Oh,
social media. So instead of the popsicles, she came out and like brought out like Twinkies as like a joke to like a past film that he did, and it was just a laugh. Like it was just all like every time somebody like that was on set, Richard made it such a point to be like, this is not only cool that we're working together, but like your legacy is also really incredible. So that was fun. That was a really good day.
yeah. Yeah, it was so good to see all of the different 80s actors, I guess is what we can call them, because it
Yeah.
really added to the whole film. Now, you also appeared in another film, Disappearing Boy. Has that one been
hmm
released yet?
I it was through the festival circuit last year. I believe it is released on Amazon at the moment. I'm not for sure if there was any other distribution other than that, but I went through the festival circuit, had a great ride through that. Disappearing Boy was a really I played a sister, a loving sister that was a safe home for a brother who kind of got into some trouble along his way, but trouble from good intent. And so it it was a really that nurturing side of me. It was fun to bring that out and like have it be more of like with a brother and a sibling, and yeah, and have that safe home. That was a really really beautiful film to be a part of, and the
So
story is really lovely.
do you have any upcoming projects that you can talk about?
At this moment I have a couple pending ones which are like put some good vibes out there. Would love those. Not necessarily that I can talk about at the moment. I have been having fun choreographing and like doing stuff like if I'm not acting like you said earlier. So I'm choreographing a music video coming up, which should be fun. So we'll be dropping that I think next month. Um, yeah, and then I'm, constantly producing and doing stuff as well. So it's I love being on both sides of the camera because it keeps me in the midst and it keeps me meeting other people who love this industry so much. And I think for being in LA, it's we need the people who are like, I will keep working and I want to keep like making these things, even if it's, I mean, I guess we did just sign a big incentive, which is good for California. We can bring some more film projects back. But um yeah, I just want to see more happening again. And I want more auditions. So hopefully more down the road.
Yeah, yeah, I know that California had passed the new $750 million
hmm
tax incentive. Texas just did a 1.5 billion tax incentive.
Maybe
So
I'll be coming to Texas.
yeah, yeah, because it's just not Hollywood anymore.
No, no. But you know what? It is cool to see how many people are like, I still love this and I'm going to make it. I mean, but movies may have money, like they need money for it. So I understand how it's such a, like, it's not a cheap thing to create. It's an expensive one. So I'm just hoping for more. And yeah, maybe it means doing projects in other states.
Yeah, because I got to thinking about all of the tax incentives and everybody's, they talk about we've got to save Hollywood, we got to save Hollywood, and I kept thinking, what are you actually trying to save?
hmm
Because film is universal. I know a lot of people who film in Europe because the budgets are
hmm
far cheaper than being in California. And then I got to thinking about all the studios in LA, and I'm like, wait a minute, your tax incentives, you're trying to keep things in the old business model, and it's really nothing but a jobs program.
Right. Yeah.
But, because people don't realize there's set builders, there's plumbers, there's electricians,
Takes a
all these.
lot. It takes a village. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So to me, and you probably know this too. A lot of actors have moved out of LA because they know that they can go to work anywhere.
Yeah. I've had a lot of friends leave, which it's hard to see them go, but then it's also cool to see what they are doing elsewhere. And it is cool to like see that the industry is spreading in a way because I think in the long run, maybe that just means more projects in general. There we can fly anywhere, which is great. But yeah, I've had a lot of friends leave. I miss them. I
Well,
need to
how
come
many
back.
auditions do you average a month?
Oh, very few right now. I think right now I'm at like four or five. Four? I think last month I had
Really?
about four. Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
all for
I would love
film, or
more.
do you sometimes do them for commercials?
Oh, for commercials, I feel like I've had two or three recently. I've been doing some print work, which is fun. Um, so I mean, more so like just like film and TV. It's more so like very low, like four, five. But let's hope that goes up.
Hey, it'll go up, and ladies and gentlemen, when y'all see Arielle in Roswell Delirium, I'm gonna warn you, she looks a lot younger in this interview than she does in the film. So even I had to do a double take. But for all of you, Roswell Delirium is being relaunched, and you can watch it now on Apple TV Plus and Prime Video. And Roswell Delirium is based in the 1980s. The U.S. is hit by a wave of nuclear attacks, and after the fallout, those who remain pretend like everything is normal, even though they are all experiencing radiation poisoning. But then a young girl named Mayday tries to make contact on a series of ham radios with her father, who is in space on a shuttle mission. Now, instead of making contact, she receives an intergalactic distress call from space that leads her on a journey to Space Rock, the land where Area 51 once was. For the rest of the story, watch the film. And Ariel, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you had a
Mhm.
good time.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely talking to you.
You're very welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, you can catch all of the Bond on Cinema interviews at bondoncinema.com. Check out our Prime show, our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on your way to work or on the weekends on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, and more. And also, too, remember, you're either going to see me at the movies or on the red carpet.
Tensions between the Soviet Union and US remain at an all-time high.
We're under attack?
What is happening? Come on. Go, 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 go. Hi. Good morning. Come on, join me.
All right. Who wants to tell me what today is?
It's the 2-year anniversary of the attack.
I was scared. Everybody was.
Was that the first and only time you've been abducted?
I don't know exactly. It might not even be the first time I was taken. I don't think there's anything there I want to remember.
Overnight, she started developing alarming levels of radiation exposure.
So she's dying.
See, please stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, no! Oh, you're killing her! Stop!
Now, your mind should be in a world of nothingness, drifting, calling home. What do you see?
Space Rock.
Stop!